everybody, it's Kelly and I'm back with another layout, and today I am using that I don't know if you saw that because it went by pretty fast, but I am using that transparency that is from 2007. It's by Clear Expressions Rana Ferrer, who some of you may recognize if you've been scrapbooking a while. But I didn't, it said celebrate in that corner, and I didn't really care for that. It's not my style, that it's a little more vintagey and shabby than I am now. I think back in 2007, that definitely was the current style, and I just never used this transparency. And I was digging in my stash for something that Rachel and I are going to do, or well, we haven't done it yet. By the time you see this, we will have. Our March 1st layout is find the oldest piece of paper that you have in your stash. Now, if I considered this a piece of paper, this would have qualified, but I'm not going to do that just because I want you to see me use old paper, although this is a great second use of it. So anyway, I'm taking these photos from a fall run. There is a deer in one of those, otherwise just some really beautiful scenery and frost on the grass because I was out early enough in the morning. I'm backing that all on that orange wood paper, which is from Crate Paper Storyteller. It's the Yesterday paper, which is from 2011. That again was a pretty shabby chic collection. And then I decided to add the main photo on a different piece of paper. And you just saw me go through, and I'm starting to glue down the transparency so it doesn't slip. It's on a piece of craft cardstock, and I think that's from Recollections. I think that's a Recollections cardstock. But you saw me glue that down just under the word, under the celebrate, because I know for sure that that's going to end up under this matte paper there, because all those photos are going to stay on there. Then I did matte the large photo on that other wood paper, which is from Pebbles Lakeside. It's the trail matte paper from 2012. And I'm kind of looking at maybe letting that celebrate stick out just a little bit, but I want to make sure it gets covered. So I'm thinking about using some sort of journaling spot. And these are some die cuts from the Cartabella Fall Market Ephemera. And that was just last year's fall collection from Cartabella. I had picked those up because I didn't have a lot of ephemera. And I want something at that corner so the transition makes sense there. I do like this little pumpkin here. And then I'm thinking about maybe something up in that top left there, kind of like that line of pumpkins. I like how the kind of turquoisey color brings out the color in the blue sky. And then I did find this frame that I kind of like here. It has a really small pattern to it. These can be difficult to cut apart though, to figure out how to do that well. And so I decided not to use it because I know I want something up in the top left, and I don't think that would cut apart very well. I could hide the fact that there's no side on one side by covering it, but I just didn't feel like doing that. So again, I'm still playing with this ephemera here. That is the only new thing on this layout. Oh, I did grab that chipboard Autumn. That was from Simple Stories Hello Fall. It's the chipboard stickers from 2016, so I do have a few of those left. And that will become part of my title, that chipboard Autumn, right above the big photo. I did find that little banner from the ephemera pack, and now I'm going to go old school. Because there's no flowers to use in the ephemera pack, I went back to my Prima flowers, these paper flowers. Those things, I can't tell you how old they are because there's no, what do I want to say? There's no number, no year. I can't think, goodness, on the jar. But I would say those jars are somewhere 2006 to 2008, somewhere in that neighborhood. It's from really early when I first started scrapbooking. So that would definitely be within that time frame. Scrapbooking in the way I scrapbook now. I was doing some things a little bit earlier, just on white paper, but with pattern paper and that kind of a thing. Oh my gosh, those, I still have a gazillion of those left, as you can tell. I think these are my last two turquoise ones, but I did uncover some of these in a box the other day. And I keep them in my Raskog cart, which it's not right by my desk, but it's close. and it holds most of my mixed media supplies and some overflow like these flowers. So I'm taking my vintage photo Tim Holtz ink there, and I'm just inking the edges of everything to kind of pull it all together to give it a little vintagey look, because that transparency is so vintagey. And now that I have this down, I'm really thinking, you guys, that this is very true to my current style, even though I'm using very old product. Other than that ephemera, the newest paper is 2012. So, you know, that's 7 years old. I'm not counting 2020 because these collections, like that 2000 collection, the clear transparency would have come out, I think, in the fall. So that's why I'm not counting that as 13 years old right now. So really, really loving the way this is looking. I like how the flowers add that bright pop to draw your eye across the page in a diagonal. And I do that all the time. I use color or embellishments or something. Now these flowers, normally when I would stick something, I would stick the item to the glue dot and then stick it onto the page. But these flowers don't do that very well. They tend to pull off a layer of the paper. So when I have those, I just put the dots down and then put the flowers on top of that. And again, I'm continuing to do more gluing here. I glued the underneath the rest of the photo mat and up in the top left. So now things are getting down much more securely. I do want to put some jewels in those flowers, because I think that little bit of sparkle will really help, because the transparency is shiny. It'll, you know, call even more attention to it. And when I use these paper flowers, and this is still true, I really preferred to use a jewel that was the same color as the flowers. Sometimes I'll use clear, but I really like them to sort of blend. I want you to see the flowers and not the jewel, if that makes any sense. So I used the red jewels from Martha Stewart, the pink topaz gem stickers. Those came from Michael's. And then the blue jewels are a freebie from Simon Says Stamp. And here again, we're going old school, guys. So these are Lily B letters. And I'm going to choose letters from the Christmas Cheer collection and to use for this layout. And I had these stuck in my sticker letters, and I use tiny little letters like this all the time. So I thought, well, this is crazy. And there's brown there, which I never can find. So I'm so excited about these that I pulled these out. And, you know, they're kind of a pain because they're so little, but they'll work. You know, that's great. So I'm not quite sure how old these are, but I'm going to take a guess and think that they go back to about 2010, 2012, somewhere in that neighborhood. I know I was still married when I had this Christmas collection. Isn't that an awful way to determine that? So I actually probably could go back to some of my layouts from those years and determine, and my Christmas journal and determine, but I'm not going to do that. So if you guys have not caught up with Rachel Reynolds and I with our new series, we're doing a series called Stash Bash. Both of us are on spending freezes. They're self-imposed. It's not that we need to be, but we decided to just not spend money on scrapbook supplies because we both have a lot in our stashes and we want to work through some of them. And I will tell you, I am really surprised at how much I am working through. I did today buy cardstock and a couple of pattern papers. I spent like $20 in on some thicker letters as well at a store near me, an independent store. I do still want to support that, but I only bought, I think, 2 pieces of paper from the pink paisley. I can't remember what that something in ivy, maybe. I think it's something in ivy. I don't know. Indigo and ivy. And then because I happen to have that, and I bought 4 sheets of yellow cardstock or white cardstock. So guys, there is the layout now that the alpha is down or title is down. I added those stickers from the Simple Stories Hello Fall collection. Hope you guys are well, and make sure you check out the Stash Bash playlist to see more old product in use. Bye everybody.